ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Agency Jeopardy now. Come on up, panelists. Up we come, here we are. Please welcome them to the stage, ladies and gentlemen. Rounds of applause, thank you. Okay. Excellent. Okay, welcome to the stage, all our panelists. Are you all up on here? Come on, let's get away, quick, quick, quick. We've got some exciting stuff. Stephen, there we are. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we probably have about half of the world's advertising expenditure represented on this one stage. So we're going to have 45 minutes to interrogate our teams here and see what they know about what clients think about the media environment. Let's just tell our audience exactly what we're going to do, panelists. But first of all, let's introduce ourselves. From my left.
Steve King, ZenithOptimedia.
Steve Allan, MediaCom.
Mauricio Sabogal, Mediabrands.
Luisa Francoli, MPG.
Mainardo de Nardis, OMD.
Jack Klues, VivaKi.
Annie Rickard, Posterscope Worldwide.
An Allan initiative.
Okay, audience, this is what we're going to be doing. It's a 4-part quiz, okay? First round, general knowledge. Then, the next round, second, third, and fourth, all the answers are going to be based on an exclusive poll of CMOs that we've conducted across the world. We had just under 40 answers to a range of questions from global clients. In our second, third, and fourth rounds, we're going to see if our agencies correspond their views to the views of the client. Okay? Let's play general knowledge round. Fingers on the buzzers, please, ladies and gentlemen. Are we ready? Which music artist turned actor took a stake in MySpace alongside specific media last year? Allan.
Justin Timberlake.
Yes, he's right. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Question 2. Fingers on the buzzers, please, ladies and gentlemen. Which female global superstar has the highest number of Twitter followers?
Lady Gaga.
Oh, I'm sorry. You've been beaten to it, Maria Luisa. Steve.
Lady Gaga.
It is indeed Lady Gaga. A round of applause. Excellent work. You're right. Almost 23 million followers on Twitter, closely followed by Justin Bieber with 20 million. Actually, interestingly, Lady Gaga has only tweeted herself about 1,300 times, whereas Justin Bieber has tweeted about 15,000 times. Very interesting there. Just a little fact for you there, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, now for question number 3. Which popular gaming franchise is planning to launch a TV episode? Jack Klues.
I would say Words with Friends, but I know it's Angry Birds.
Angry Birds! Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. You are right. Congratulations. Excellent. Okay, this is good. Question number 4, ladies and gentlemen. Fingers on the buzzers, please. According to ComScore, what is the world's largest online news site? Maria Luisa.
Huffington Post.
I'm afraid it is not the Huffington Post. Okay, on my signal, you are free to buzz in. Anyone else? Audience? It's the Daily Mail Online. Absolutely. But I have a supplementary question. Which American news provider did the Daily Mail Online recently usurp in the ComScore rankings? Steve?
New York Times.
Yes, indeed. Round of applause for Steve, ladies and gentlemen. And our final question in the general knowledge warm-up round is, it's a tricky one. Here we go. The London 2012 Olympics has 11 top sponsor partners. Can you name 5 of them? Annie, Rickard.
Coca-Cola. I had them all a second ago. Hang on, let me do this. Coca-Cola's one of them. McDonald's.
Yes.
Barclays.
Oh! Does anyone want Mainardo?
Coca-Cola. McDonald's. Visa.
Yes.
Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Visa, Panasonic,
Yes.
louder,
Oh, my goodness me, this is too much.
BMW.
No, in fact, okay, final answer, Stephen.
Procter & Gamble.
Yes, indeed. Okay, well done. No points for anyone in that round because they just got it all together. Goodness me. Okay. That was our warm-up general knowledge round. And before we move to round 2, what I just want to say is that although this is a little bit of fun, there is a very amazing prize that we're going to give away to the winner, okay? Okay, it's not too...
I'm ready.
And it really, I'm very excited about it. It's the most fantastic prize. You're all going to see it at the end of this game. Absolutely unbelievable. But anyway, so just to give a little bit of competitive spirit. So, at the end of round 1, the general knowledge quiz, let's see the scores on the doors, please. Okay, it's tight, but in the lead is Steve King from Zenith with 2 points. Give him a round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, let's move on to our second round. This round and all the next rounds of this game are based upon the answers given by 32 global marketing directors in our exclusive poll. Many of the CMOs we've asked are actually speaking at the festival over the next few days. Many international media directors are among the audience who have fulfilled the poll over the last couple of weeks. So we're going to be looking at some key themes and topics that are affecting your business. Okay? Take a deep breath. Are you ready to play? We're ready to play.
Ready.
Okay, here we go. You're going to see a choice of 4 answers appearing on your screens, okay? After you've seen the 4th possible answer, I will then allow you to buzz, okay? Here's the question. According to our exclusive poll of CMOs, what percentage of brand managers agree with the statement, brands are now publishers? Let's see the choices. Is it 20%, 50%, 80%, or 100%? Mainardo, you're in first.
100%.
You are a little bit overconfident there. Okay. Stephen.
80%.
Indeed, it's 80%. A round of applause. Excellent for Steve Allan. Great answer.
I would have gone that too.
It's still the majority, okay? Now, that's interesting. Stephen, do you think that you're orientating your business model into that sort of new era of brands becoming content owners?
Yeah, I think for sure. I think today it's a business imperative for any brand to have a dialogue with its customers, and publishing can be anything from webisodes to actually just having a website to obviously social media. It's omnipresent, and I think I'm not surprised that Mainardo actually said 100%, but I think in reality it probably is 100%, but 80% was the next best guess.
You don't have to be too competitive here.
Okay.
Mainardo, do you think the structure of media agencies are really in a position to capitalize on this idea of brands becoming content creators and owners?
What do you expect my answer to be? Of course, yes.
Yeah.
I think that we've been trying to go in that direction for many, many years. This is not something new, and that's why I expected it in our pool of 32 marketing directors that the answer would have been 100%, because it's something that is now intrinsically part of what we do. And owning, driving, and sharing content is at the center of every activity from a media agency today.
Allan, there was a piece of research that the World Federation of Advertisers want to sort of put out there, was sort of challenging perceptions of content, saying that the ideal media budget is 0. In order that a great idea can generate earned and owned media. I mean, what challenges does that sort of mentality present to a large, media communications company like Initiative?
Well, I guess I think the key and the holy grail almost is to try to define a combination of paid, owned, and earned media. And they obviously all work together in different ways according to different categories and probably different product within categories. So you need paid media to be able to earn, to drive earned and owned media. This is really a combination that you need to make sure happens all the time. Sometimes it's great, you don't need any paid media, but most of the time you need a combination of the two.
Mauricio, just noticing that, you know...
Charlie, could I say something?
Oh, of course you may, Jack. Yes, of course.
I kind of am in between these two answers a little bit. Because I do believe, I think that's a pretty interesting statistic in a survey. I would actually see that is a problem, could be our future. I do believe that our agency models need to focus more on owned. We need to leverage our clients' existing content. We have to help them create, content, as well as drive a higher degree of earned impressions and earned exposures through the social media space. And I think in order to do that, I agree with Allan that we're in a space where paid media is the accelerant. But I think as we move from exposure models to experience models, I think our future is going to be how we drive owned for the least amount of paid. None would be perfect, not probably practical, but I do think that that's a very different model than most of us were really raised with as traders.
And what's the challenge? I mean, the challenge you've got at the moment is trying to migrate that business model. You know, you're carrying the overhead of your legacy into this new world. How do you do that, and how do you carry the clients with you in that conversation?
I do think we do live in an and world. Excuse my voice. I do think we do live in an and world, but I think that we will migrate with the help of automation and gain the efficiencies from that allows us to reinvest into products, really into people who are more in the experiential planning space and less in the transactional space.
Richard, does media buying agencies have the capability of telling stories?
The telling stories, of course, we have different companies in this field. The situation is not just telling stories, but how is the efficient way to engage the consumer? Because today with this kind of trend, what is happening is the announcers are going are experimenting, and the media agencies are experimenting too, and we need to find the right point in order to continue having our own sense, which is spending the budget that the advertiser is investing in engaging the consumer in the right way. Not just is telling stories, not just is creating branded content, is to have the right mix between paid, earned, and owned media.
Do you think we've actually found the right mix? I mean, have your clients found the right mix yet?
Not yet. And by the way, the answer is clients are thinking that 80% of the brands are publishers now. But today, when you see the reality, not all the announcers are in that level of confidence in terms of being publishers.
So much content is now being put into social media channels, and yet one of the parts of the survey that we haven't revealed is that 64% of clients felt that actually in social media, Facebook was becoming actually too dominant. Now, if you look at the statistics, Group M is probably going to put about $400 million into Facebook this year. Stephen, do you think media agencies are sort of succumbing maybe a little bit to fashion, and that might change over time?
Do I think?
Yes, you asked me.
I'm sorry, I was just referring to the Group M statistics. So Steve and Allan first, and then Steve King after. Thank you.
Couldn't hear the question.
Do you think that media agencies are going too far into social media, where in actual fact the metrics in terms of whether it works, what's the value of a like, and all those sort of aspects are not still relatively unproven?
Well, I think that's a fair observation. I think the reality is we're all still learning. I think at the moment the share of mind that we all give and the attention that we give to social media is way beyond actually the share of advertising spend and revenue that they're actually getting. I mean, we're talking single digits, talk about 400 million. It's a relatively small number in relation to the 70 billion that goes through Group M. So in that context, I would say probably not. Okay. I think your point about is Facebook too dominant? I think we all want a healthy amount of competition, but equally at the same time, our clients and us want the ability to reach decent and good numbers of people, albeit well targeted.
Okay. Steve, do you want to come in on that?
Yeah, I think it's more of a general point. I think, the excellent presentation that David Weldon made earlier when he talked about with some confidence about the media agencies. And if we'd have been at this panel maybe 5 or 10 years ago, I think the biggest threat would have been that we were afeared that we were going to be disaggregated. And instead, I think it seems as though the media agencies have got a very strong place to play in terms of navigating and collaborating. And the reason for that is largely that in all this new confusion, whether it's analytics or data or content, there's nobody who can provide all those solutions. But actually the media agencies are pretty well placed to try and bring these different elements together. And I suspect when you look at the people that make up the media agencies, we generally tend to be collaborative, entrepreneurial, and are able to integrate with each other. So I think that it's a very different sort of focus in terms of the confidence that you're getting out of this group. And I think Facebook is one element, and we're looking at that, and that's a very new element. And obviously for all of us, we would like to have new elements to play and make sure we adapt our product in line with those needs.
Yeah. Okay, well, just to further that point, Maria-Louisa, what's preventing a client from hiring some experienced storytellers in-house who know and understand the brand, and then sieving out their stories into online networks and channels, and actually not necessarily needing the capabilities of media buying that you are currently providing?
Okay, I have two answers to that question. Nothing is preventing advertisers to hire a good storyteller, and actually I think that is something that I encourage advertisers to do, and to work with their partners like media agencies to make sure that the stories that we tell are the right ones, are good ones, and are enchanting ones. Having a storyteller somehow is not enough. And I think there is a lot of expertise in groups like ours, media agencies and PR agencies and other agencies that are not here represented that can make the great team with the storyteller from the advertiser to enchant our consumers, to delight them, and to make sure that they follow us and follow our products and follow what we do and fall in love with our brands.
Thank you very much. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to question 2 this session. Fingers on the buzzers, please. There are no choices for this question. I just want a true or false answer, okay? We asked our 32 CMOs the following question. We said to them, the overwhelming majority of advertisers believe that print media has no future. Is this true or false? Maria-Louisa?
Yes, it's totally false, I think.
Absolutely right. Round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. Come on, we're getting into the spirit of this game show now. Absolutely. 94% of advertisers said print media has a future. You're obviously not surprised by that. Why is that?
No, we've done a lot of studies, and I personally am a firm believer in print media. If you think of print media like just paper, then there may be some more questions and some adaptations that the print media would have to do. But if you think of print media, of the powerful brands that they are, and we saw an excellent example with the I think it was the Telegraph a few minutes ago, and I think that's wonderful, and the power they have to exploit their brands and whatever is behind the brand to engage consumers and to go deeper with the advertisers. I think print is not only not dead, but has a very good future ahead. Okay.
Annie, you run a business that's predominantly been print in the purest sense, posters, global poster business. That's obviously very quickly migrating to digital. So, you know, what issues are you finding in that transfer of your business?
I think that print in out-of-home will disappear in the sense that one day everything will be digital. I'm quite certain. I'm not quite sure when that will be, but it'll probably be sooner than any of us expect. The challenges that present people working in the industry are that I think in the past the outdoor industry's tended to occupy its own special little place with its own language and those funny people who work in posters. And what we have to do now is we have to be part of this bigger, if you like, this bigger ecosystem. And so we have to be able to demonstrate how out-of-home drives search, how it influences digital behavior, what role it plays in the mix. And looking into the very near future, I think we're right on the edge of mobile transacting becoming quite normal via a poster site. So connecting data, how we use that data, how that influences what we recommend to clients. All of those challenges, not dissimilar to other media, but sort of new for our medium, if you like.
Allan, what advice would you give to print publishers in keeping their offer to you, the agencies, fresh, inviting, engaging, and ultimately providing value for money for your customers?
Work across platforms, and lots of publishers have done an amazing job actually in leveraging tablets and all that. I think David referenced a great ad from The Guardian that you guys I've seen, I think. And I think it's a fantastic example that shows how a story can start somewhere and ends up somewhere else. I think less and less the question of survival of media is the right question. In 94%, everyone agrees, I mean, media, digital makes every media, whether it's TV, print, radio, was a more interactive, more interesting, with more potential. I remember a few years ago, everyone was talking about TV, the end of TV. I mean, TV with connected TV has never been as strong as of today.
Thank you. Mainardo first, then Jack.
I think that one of these days, perhaps, we should start not calling them print anymore, because really what we're talking about is content companies, which have either a huge degree of specialization in certain subjects, or the capacity to have widespread information constantly updated. So, as content company, of course, they've got a huge future. The major issue that you were referring to before, I think, is still getting the consumer to pay for it and to have the right value for it, because somehow we're still used to have too much information and content free whenever it's online, and we're not used as consumers to pay for it in a proper way. So that is a challenge for the future. But the fact that a print, as content companies, will have a very successful future, I think there is no doubt.
Charlie?
Charlie.
Sorry, Jack first, and then...
Just an add-on comment, pardon me, Charlie, that I would say the publishers they're brilliant. These are people who know their readers, know their audiences, maybe better than any other media owner in our industry. And I think that in a themed media festival, it's all about data. One suggestion I would add to other good ones that have been made by your panel is that they have great understanding of their audiences and their circulation bases, and the ability for that to be a little bit more opened up and be able to tap that and merge it with other databases, I think will be not only to their benefit, but the benefit to our clients and their products.
Thank you, Jack.
Yeah, all I was going to say was, although there is a future for the medium, I don't see a future for everyone. And I think that what we will see is continued and actually quite rapid consolidation. And I think those publishers that learn how to actually charge for their content in one form or another are more likely clearly to survive. I think News Corp, Murdoch's been probably one of the smartest at doing that. And the only way you can actually charge for your content is if you're offering me something that's unique and different and I can't get anywhere else.
Thank you. Steve King.
Yeah, I would agree. I think when you're talking about print, it's like when you're talking about mobile or you're talking about television, you can't really say, categorize everything in that medium as one single word, because in print you've obviously got multi-platforms, you've got web, you've got apps, you've got, you've got magazines and newspapers, and I do agree that there's going, while we're all optimistic about print, people are still going to read printed, media. My kids, for example, I don't think they've ever bought a copy of the Daily Mail, but they're all reading Mail Online, which is why I knew the answer to that question. But there is going to be definitely consolidation, as Stephen says, and there are going to be fewer newspapers, both nationally and particularly local. And I think when you look at the local sector, where you're losing both readers and subscription and advertising migrates to the internet, you're going to see a very rapid change in different categories. So just to call it a single media like print is a sort of misnomer in the question.
Thank you. Mauricio, you run world markets, so many developing new economies around the world. In most of those markets, print circulations are actually on the rise. So presumably you're still very much a fan of the medium.
No, not really. The trend in world markets is exactly the same. Of course, the learning curve is different. The markets outside the most important ones are a little delay in adopting certain things because they are waiting for the learning curve. But I think that the answer is wrong. The answer is, is true. It's not false. Why? Because we have to differentiate between what is print media and what is read platform, which is different. I think today, for me, the only media that are going to survive and the redefinition of media are considered satellites, radio frequencies, or cable. And through those media, we receive all the platform, the platform to view, to listen, and to read. Of course, when you see the new applications, and when you see the difference between 2 years ago, where it was not certain, and today, where we can see the trend, that is the traditional printed media is moving to applications, we can test with the public how many of the public use the daily newspaper printed in paper to read the news. Just few.
Yeah. How many people still read a daily newspaper in print format?
Few.
How many have now changed their reading habits to read daily content on their iPads or phones?
See?
Both, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's move on to question 3. Fingers on
Running
the
out of time,
buzzers.
Charlie. I want to catch him up. Come on.
Yes, exactly. We're getting
Finish
competitive
now.
here. Okay, here we go. You're about to see those 4 answers again. You need to pick one that you think corresponds with what clients and marketing directors think. Okay, what percentage of clients said that the money they spend on mobile will double in the next 2 years? Is it? Nobody? 30%? 65%? Stephen Allen's quick on the draw,
I
ladies
want
and
to
gentlemen.
catch him up. I say 85%.
You are correct. Absolutely. A very big swing, as it were. Okay, let's just talk about mobile a little bit and talk about how you're reacting to it in your businesses. I mean, you know, every day on YouTube, on their mobile, you get 200 million downloads of video, which is amazing. You've got 70% of the money spent on mobile at the moment is around search. So you get the sense that there's going to be a change coming. We've got different forms of mobile. We've heard with the OMD session about mobile retail. We have mobile display, we have mobile search, all sorts of other different areas of mobile. So my question is to Maria Luisa first. You know, where is the opportunity with mobile as far as you're concerned? Which area of the mobile channel excites you the most? Okay,
I think it's difficult to separate. It's a comprehensive because one is very linked to the other. So you're talking about retail, but retail is also payment forms. You've got a retail search payment form, so everything has to be very linked because everything is providing part of the same solution for clients to do business with consumers and to do business in a way that is convenient, that is affordable, and that is likable. So in our company, for instance, we have declared this year like the mobile first year, and mobile has to be first, and we have to think, and we are training our people to think about mobile first. So that could be implemented or not, but that exercise is a must and is giving us very good results in changing the way we operate, the way we think about clients' situations, and also the solutions that we are providing for them. So everything is exciting, and I think it's the next big exciting thing after the appearance of the internet 15 years ago.
Okay. I'll come to you in a minute, Stephen Allen, because you got the question right. Jack, you know, Publicis was quite an early developer in mobile, but the acquisition of Phone Valley and so on. So,
Right.
so where does your business stand in mobile right now?
Well, you want us to be a little more controversial, and I can't on this particular question with Maria Louise. I think that's exactly right. I think that and you set the question up already, Charlie, to give us the answer. It's about convergence. What we've got is a channel, if you will. It's probably more than that, which is e-commerce, it's search, it's location-based, social media now. And I think it's got a tremendous opportunity. If I had to pick a space, I'd say e-commerce. We've done some work, pardon me, for our Samsung client. And so I get my facts right here. I think about 50% of consumer electronics shoppers who are just going to search, regular online search, will make a purchase in that space in about 30 days. The same, another 50% though, who are searching on mobile, make that purchase in a week. And I think that those are pretty interesting, formidable figures that clients like Samsung and many others are going to find, even if you aren't selling product online in a pure e-commerce place, you're going to know that's where your prime customers are as they relate to a potential purchase in shopping.
I'm going to stick with this side for a second because I've got some nodding heads. Annie.
I think that what will happen is that the planning for mobile and out of home will get closer and closer. And what I mean by that is, so people are searching on their phone. That often means they're outside the home when they're searching. That information will inform advertisers on what to say and when and how to say it. And that in turn will then influence what advertisers are saying through mobile advertising as well. So I think it will be a sort of virtuous circle of learning, and they will move much closer together as disciplines.
Allan, briefly.
Just every year for the last 5 years at least, someone says this is the year of mobile. It's every year, right?
It's true.
So hopefully this is going to be the year. But I mean, the question says, are they going to double their investment? Their investment is so small right now that even doubling it is not to make it big enough. And I remember 10 years ago, we talked about the internet gap. I said to a client, whatever you do, you have to invest more in the internet because your consumers are the internet. I mean, there's a mobile gap today, so the first thing to do is really look at how much clients invest on mobile, whatever, the way you use mobile, because the consumers are actually using it, and for lots of reasons, there is still, I don't know if it's shyness or a lack of understanding of the media that prevents this gap from being bridged.
Yeah. And I'm going back to you, Stephen. The question is, do you think agencies, media agencies, potentially missing a trick in mobile? I mean, if you look at the last couple of years, Google bought AdMob. You've got Amobi just recently being bought by Singtel, so that's going to a carrier and operator. You have Millennial choosing its route via the IPO. So some of these big opportunities that were out there for agencies to possibly invest in or acquire seem to be slipping away from your grasp.
Yeah, I think that's a fair observation. I think, though, the other thing you've got, if I talk for MediaCom for a moment, perhaps Group M, I mean, it's not necessarily our business to take bets on organisations always, and at the end of the day, our job is to service our clients. We've got to have the right technology and resource, but for every one that you back, another two can actually go wrong. But I mean, I think going back to the question, if the question had said, will it triple in the next 2 years, I still would have gone 85%, and I would still have gone the same if you'd have said quadruple. And I think for me at the moment, every conversation that I have with a client, it feels like 50% of the conversation, well, 50% is about social media, and the other 50% is about mobile, and they're actually interlinked. And I think the big area of opportunity is without doubt transaction.
Okay, let's move to transaction then. Let's hurry this quiz ahead. I hope, are you enjoying this so far? It's an unusual format, isn't it? We just thought of it a couple of days ago. You can't believe the panic on the faces of our production team when we said, please could you erect some buzzers, Anyway, let's crack on. Your fingers on the buzzers, please, ladies and gentlemen. Let's move to the transaction and the trading. You'll have 4 choices. Let's clear the screen. Here we go. What percentage of clients think trading desks are a welcome development in the industry? Is it 22%, 52%, 72%, or Jack Klues?
Oh, buzzer works on this side.
Amazing.
Charlie, I'd say 52%. 72%.
Mainardo?
72.
Yes, you're right! Oh, I'm so unfortunate. That's a tricky, that's a curveball, isn't it? Indeed. 23 out of the 32 responses said that trading desks were a welcome development in the industry. Why do you think that is, Mainardo?
Well, I couldn't find any negative. I mean, the issue is how you use it and what for, not if it is a welcome development. Of course, it's anything that delivers more efficiency, that is in real time, that allows us to use the vast, rich data and analytics that we have in order to have real-time trading opportunities. Of course, it's welcome. That doesn't mean that you should use it for everything all the time, and especially in situations where you need a certain amount of quality.
Okay. I'm going to ask just a quick supplementary question. It won't appear on your screen here. It's not a multiple choice, I'm afraid, so it's a tricky one. I'm just going to ask the question out there, see if you can get near to the answer. What percentage of clients agreed that trading desks lack transparency? Mainardo again.
No,
do you want a number, or do you
Yes.
want 55%?
I'm going to give it to you. Give him a yes, exactly. The answer is actually 72%, but I thought it was a bit unfair to hand it back because you're just going to go bang, bang, bang like that. So anyway, but so you were right by thinking it was the majority. Why do you think that is? Maybe that goes to Jack.
Well, I only raised my hand because that's why I picked 52 on the first answer. Because I think that it's, Mainardo answered it correctly. I think it's a great opportunity as it relates to online advertising and online media placement. But when it gets into trading desks, I do think there's a lot of misinformation. I think the trading desks that the agencies are developing are are terrific because they bring the discipline, the transparency, the control that we bring to all other media placements into the online space. And where I think some of the misinformation is that the agencies, I guess you might say we were a little late to that party. Ad networks went in there, bought inventory, arbitraged it, and now with the advent of our own trading desks, are having to fight for a share of those dollars and in some cases fight for survival. And that can bring out some interesting conversations as a result. And so for me, I believe that the agency trading desks are a good thing. Certainly our experience has been one of transparency and not arbitrage. And I think that's the case of many. And you know, not to throw rocks at the ad networks as a result, but that it's a different business model.
I think perhaps, and I'll put this question to Steve first, if I may, just bring you into the conversation here, because I think what the clients are afraid of a little bit is that as this issue of rebates gets looked at more and more vociferously by advertisers, they fear that as that opens up, becomes more transparent, that the margin requirement that your holding companies are demanding of you will transfer to the trading desks and that your algorithms will have some sort of margin component in it. Do you think that fear is fair?
Obviously, I'm going to say no to that. You know, I think the benefit of the trading desks is, you know, the points that were made earlier. It's all about scale and volume and analytics, and you combine those factors together when there's a surfeit of supply, and hopefully, the ambition is we can target much more effectively on behalf of our clients. And, you know, it's just like when media agencies started, when we started 25 years ago, the whole threat was, oh, no, this is all about rebates or markups. And in fact, you know, as every single client knows here, you know, every single client that I'm sure everyone on this panel has, you know, we've got very, very clear contracts which guarantee transparency in the way that we work in every single client, in every single market. So I think the people who challenge the fact that this is non-transparent are those on the outside who are envious of the scale or success or the knowledge or volume that we've got. And I think it's, as we would say, a red herring that this is something to do with non-transparency.
So Stephen, are all DSPs the same?
No.
I mean, and where's the point of difference between, say, Group M's Axis and audience on demand? What would you say the fundamental points of difference to the audience?
Well, I can't speak for others. I think in our case, and in the case of Xaxis, it's our own proprietary technology. It's not done on a JV basis with third parties such as Google, and the reason that's important to us is because it allows us to protect our clients' data and give what we believe is more privacy for them, and ultimately for their customers as well.
Mauricio?
No, I want to say about the transparency issue is, when clients think and scored 70-something% that the trading desks are not transparent, they are assuming that we are playing kind of a dishonest game, which is not true. We have, to your point, we have a strict contracts with clients and strict policies in keeping all our business transparent. It doesn't mean that we cannot analyze different sources of income and put it over the table and discuss with the client. Because it's different when the client pays 1% losing, and we lose money, than when we put over the table all the sources income and we explain to the client how we can have a profitable business.
Thank you. And final word, Marie-Louisa.
Final word, okay. Not only because of the trading desks and the rebates and all of that, I think our business, just by the pure nature of our business, we're managing large amounts of money for our clients. They trust us, you trust us, advertisers, with that money. So our business should be that of trust. If there is trust, anything can go. If there is no trust, it doesn't matter if it's a trading desk or if it's a rebate or if it's a contract. If there is no trust, nothing will work and nothing will be enough.
Thank you. I think we'll come to that. We're running a little bit tight for time, unfortunately.
Right.
Can I give you one comment about it?
Well, yes, you may.
Thank you.
You may.
Because I'm
such
going
a
to say
pushover. Go on.
and then probably Mainardo will jump on too on it.
Yeah.
I think when I see that high statistic from the CMOs that you asked the question of, I think the difference is they're questioning whether in a trading desk, pardon me, the agency's acting both as seller and buyer simultaneously.
Yes.
And in our AOD case, and probably other trading desks, where as long as we continue to act as a buyer and apply the same discipline, the same rules of engagement we would in any other media transaction, I think that's why the transparency issue, to Steve's point, it's a bit of a red herring.
Okay.
And I would love to meet the 32 CMOs because I think they're working with the wrong partner.
Many of them are in the room right now, Mainardo. Right, so you get... Okay, so final question. There's not a multiple choice. All I need to you is to refer to the cards in front of you and pick up your pens, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, we're going to show the audience a reveal to this question. It is a statement. We asked our clients the following statement. Is this statement, as far as they were concerned, is it true or false? Here it is. This is the statement. Let me read it to you now. The majority of clients think that holding companies have been successful in providing integrated agency solutions. The majority of clients think holding companies have been successful in providing integrated agency solutions. Is that statement, based on our research, true or is it false? You can't buzz. You're not allowed to buzz.
Okay.
False, false. Luisa? True.
Not false.
False, false. Okay, that's interesting. That's interesting. Maria Luisa, why do you think that it's... what do you think that agency holding companies have been successful? Because you seem to be in the minority.
Yes. I think that, and from conversations that I had, I think clients think that because there has been a wave of holding company contracts, holding company pitches, that clients invited a holding company with all their subsets of agencies to pitch. And that could be an indication that that's what they think, that pitching with a holding company would bring them the integration that they need. I don't think that is true, because I think that the collaboration and the spirit that we have transcends holding companies, and we have excellent relationships with agencies that are part of our holding company and with agencies that are not part of the holding company. But what I see in the market, by the way some pitches are organized, indicates to me that that could be the thinking of some of the CMOs.
Well, I'm afraid to say, Maria Luisa, you are wrong.
Well, no, I'm wrong in what they think, but they agree with me, so
Okay.
that's good.
I'm afraid only 30% agreed with the statement. So a point, please, for everyone who held up false. Okay? Now, before we go to the scores for round two, Allan, what can we do as an industry, or can you do as an industry to improve that perception that clients have that you're not providing integrated solutions?
I think change the reality, because I think there's a gap between what we do in new business sometimes and what happens when we win the business and work together. And I think we're all learning to work more at a holding level. We sometimes might have a tendency of promising stuff in new business that is harder to deliver, because as much as we have common culture and common tools, it's not always easy to make everyone work together. So practice, I would say.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Jack, we've got to move on. I'm sorry, we've got our next session. We're running a little bit late. I always do this, don't I? I always end up running late. It's part of a festival tradition. So let's see the scores on the doors, ladies and gentlemen. How are we doing? Oh, it's pretty tight. In the lead currently are the two Steves, Steve King, Stephen Allan, and Mainardo with 3 points. Give them a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. So close. So close. Okay, let's move on to the third round. There's only a few questions here, so we're going to go through this quite quickly. Short answers to the debate, please, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, here we go. It's a choice of 4 answers. The question is, what percentage of advertisers believe that they aren't paying enough for your services? Okay. What percentage believe they aren't paying enough? Is it no one? Is it 35%? Is it 65%? Or is it?
Wow.
Steve King?
I'm now going to read the question. I'm going to say 35.
You're right! Give him a round of applause.
Well done.
Steve, actually a corollary to that question, which I thought was interesting, is 50% of this poll believe that the clients have allowed their procurement directors to make cost too important in pitches. So that's interesting. So there's a split. There seems to be an internal...
Was that 50, did you say?
50%. So there seems to be an internal issue between the marketing and procurement to to sort of talk about this issue of value. But so there is a sort of magnanimity there. But how culpable are media agencies in diminishing the quality and value of their services by undermining each other in pitches?
Well, there's been lots of examples where we're culpable, but on both sides, you know. I don't think that you don't even point the finger. I think the agencies, ourselves, I think procurement, I think the clients. You know, unfortunately, when you've got a sector where you've got a lot of players and there's not a huge amount of differentiation, you're going to find a commoditization of pricing. And if I was a procurement guy, I'd say, look, you know, I can drive down the pricing here, and unfortunately, a lot of business is exchanged based on lowest common denominator. Fortunately, that is not the case for all advertisers, and the reason I suspect we've all got reasonably profitable growing businesses is that we've got clients who do value our services, and we're able to have deeper relationships. And to the points that were made earlier, I think there's an opportunity at the moment for media agencies, communications agencies to work on this integrated way and to provide a more extensive form of solution, not in isolation, but working with other partners in trying to provide a better solution of all of these new touch points that you're talking about today.
Jack, should you decide that reverse live auctioning in pitches
Steve and I work together, so I was just going to amplify a couple things that he said on this. Because it's tied, Charlie.
You are going to agree with me, though, aren't you, Jack?
No worries. But tied to your question about differentiation and Steve's comment about commoditization otherwise, they're sort of tied together. So if you don't, you know, have the opportunity to invest and keep your business fresh and work hard to differentiate, we just keep falling into that commoditization pile. So we're sort of our own worst enemy as an industry in that regard. You know, what none of us really need to do is you got to be price competitive in any industry, in any marketplace, our clients, ourselves. So you're going to be competitive on price. The problem is when you have no other story other than price, then it gets really dark.
Do you think there are instances recently where that has been the case?
It's hard for me to say. I like to believe we don't play that game, but you know, I'm not on the other side, so I can't say what the product is and what the price value is. You know, there's that appearance, Charlie, but
Does anyone else want to come in on this question? Okay, Annie first, because you know, you've just taken the General Motors business off poor old. I'm sorry to say.
Well, I wasn't going to comment on that, actually, to be honest.
Okay, sorry, no.
No, I mean, I think that in terms of this particular area, my observation is that in media, price is king and always will be. And I think it's, you know, naive to kind of think that might not be the case. But maybe some of us haven't been, many of us haven't been good enough at selling our value. And it is difficult when you're talking to a sort of very procurement-driven team, but we just got to get better, I think, at selling the value, because sometimes it seems to me that media agencies deliver extraordinary value and sort of being paid actually, you know, relatively small amounts of money for it based on some sort of media deal.
It's nice to know that a third of clients think they're not paying you enough.
Yes, it is.
I'm going to tell you, Steve Allan was coming in now.
Well, I think just wanted to say, I think maybe we're all guilty of this at times, but I think agencies have to say no more often. We, you know, speaking for ourselves, we walked away from a global client of ours 2.5 years ago who just drove us to a place that was completely untenable. That was, for us at least, a brave decision, but it wasn't one that we regret. And I think today, increasingly, the conversations we want to have with our clients are about paying us for outcomes. And I think at times the old FTE model is kind of becoming a little bit not relevant anymore.
Yes.
Anything to add, Maria Luisa, and then finally Maurizio, and then we'll move on quickly.
Yes, no, I just want to agree. I mean, we have brought it to ourselves because we don't say no enough. But as long as there is one who wants to say yes, makes the difficult work of saying no to the rest of us, because the world continues. So we should be more aware, more self-secure and self-confident, and say no more often as an industry, because we need that if we want to invest, as Jack was saying, and provide better and more differentiated services.
Maurizio?
I think that we passed through the tunnel and now we are seeing the light. For two reasons. One is the procurement people is getting day by day more specialized in media, and they are understanding our business. The more difficult part is to negotiate with procurement people that don't understand our business. If they understand our business, I think it's really good to negotiate with them. First thing. The second one is, finally, we are finding new remuneration models that allow us to be paid based on performance, not based on FTEs or based on commission, which is a really
Thank you,
good
Mauricio.
initiative.
Final word.
I was going to say the same thing. The only solution to get out of the commodity issue we have today is pay for performance and different incentive-based systems. Otherwise, we'll still have this debate in 5 years' time.
All right. Now, what we're going to do now, because we're closing off this quiz, which is run beautifully, but we're running close to time. So I'm going to quick fire the questions. No debate. We're going to leave some of these questions hanging in the air, but I want to make sure that the Twitter comments follow up, so there'll be plenty of debate for when we go into lunch and we can discuss some of these issues that are going to come to the fore now, okay? So let's carry on with the quiz. The next question, ladies and gentlemen, is what percentage of clients... Sorry, move the next slide. We're going to slip that one. We'll leave that one hanging, because we talked a bit about transparency. What percentage of clients want to deal more directly with media vendors in the future? Wait for your 4 choices, Maria-Luisa.
Maria-Luisa's out.
We should be docking a point for that. Very keen. It's the Latin keenness coming out of you there. Is it 25%, 50%, 75%, or... Steve?
He didn't finish. He did it before the 100, yes.
It's anticipation.
Okay, we'll let you answer.
Well, it's either 75 or 100. So I'm going to say
No, it's 20.
75.
Yes, you are correct, but we'll slightly dubious answering there. I'm not sure whether to mark you down, but we'll give you a chance. Is this a threat or opportunity?
No, I think it's absolutely right. I think I would actually welcome that. I think that, we've talked about collaboration, and I think the days when a media agency was just an executor of media buys is gone.
Yep.
And, if you're trying to work with new partners who've got both fantastic distribution and content, we need to have a deeper understanding. And I think with the better relationships we've got with our clients, the more we want them involved. So if I was asking in that, I would have said exactly the same. I'd like it to be 100%, and I hesitated, and I put 75.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to see the scores for the penultimate round. Let's see them on there. Let's go. Oh! With his slightly aggressive method is prevailing. Dear me, I'm beginning to see an insight in how you all compete in the pitches now. I really am. Okay, we've got the last round. We're going to whip through it very, very quickly, okay? Because I guess we're all pretty hungry for lunch. Here we go. So we're going to talk a little bit about the marketplace, okay? Fingers on buzzers, please, okay? I want it a true or false answer to this question. Is the following statement true or is it false? Half the number of clients we polled felt that Google threatens your business model. Steve King?
Steve.
True.
Yes, it's true. Give him a go. He's quick, isn't he? He's quick.
You're very slow in asking the question.
Okay, Allan, give me one reflection on that result.
I'm sorry, what's the number?
So half the number of 50-50 clients are split on this issue of whether Google threatens you or not.
It's probably the right way of looking at it. I mean, one way of looking at it is to thinking that they're investing heavily in creative services more and more. They do some direct work with the clients, so this intermediation doesn't help us. On the other hand, we've all, I think, experienced working closely with them in working out partnerships that have been extraordinarily useful for our clients. I personally think it's a good thing for us.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to move it on quickly now. We're all getting hungry. So on to our second question about the market. Okay. Again, you're going to see 4 choices. Please buzz in properly with decency. Here we go. What percentage of clients agree that media agencies are as strong in digital as they are in traditional media? Is it 20%, 30%? 45% or 60%. Steve and Allan just gets there.
But he was doing it before.
I think the answer is 30%.
Okay, it's wrong, Mainardo.
45.
Oh God, it's too much. Annie.
20.
Yes, you got there in the end.
1 point.
8 out of 10 clients don't think you're as good in digital as you are in traditional media. Jack, is that fair?
Yeah, I think it's reasonably fair. I think where we're at right now, I mean all of us collectively, is I think that we are acquiring the skill sets, whether it be in social or mobile, blah, 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 blah. But I think the difference for us is, and why you get a low percentage, is that we are still working our way through how to integrate those new channels, those new digital forms, Charlie. And and I think we will get there. For us, one of the things it requires is what we call cross athletes, though. And it takes time, energy to train cross athletes. So you can hire digital experts, and you can have traditional media experts. The trick is how you bring the two together, and that's why I think you see the percentage as low as you do. And as time goes on, I think every agency group that's represented here is working to that same end.
Yep. I mean, another part of the survey revealed that 70% of the clients believe that the quality of the ideas coming from media agencies were better than they were 5 years ago. So there is some positivity.
That's nice.
Which is good. Okay, let's go to the final question, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It is.
Shit, we're buzzing now.
Before you ask the question, yeah.
Okay, so this is the key. This is a very interesting one. We asked quite a provocative question, okay, to finish our little survey. Are you ready for this? How do I ask this one? Okay, I just need an answer from you. It will either be agree or disagree, okay? So this is what you think that the clients have said. The question is, did they agree with the statement? And the statement is, one media agency is like another. Did they agree or disagree, Mainardo?
Agree.
Agree.
Good.
Disagree.
Oh my God, it's amazing! Okay, actually, you know, maybe if we'd have asked that question 5 years ago, then you would have been correct.
I'm very happy.
But two-thirds of clients actually said that that's not the case. That there is some sense of differentiation. So my final point to all the panel is, as quickly, just give us a sense here in the audience of what differentiates your agency from the other agencies. Let's go around. Steve,
I'm going to give you a two-part question. We just did a meeting the other day with a client who we weren't working with, and I started off by saying, I'm sure you think all agencies are the same, and we are, as you know, we are positioned very clearly as the ROI agency. And the client, who I'd not met before, said, do you know what, that's completely untrue. She'd seen most of the key agencies, and she said, I know you all think you do the same, but in fact there is such a difference in terms of culture and values and the way you operate, that the agencies are more differentiated than the creative agencies.
Interesting. Steve, do you agree?
In one word, people.
Okay, fine. Mauricio.
People and a clear definition in the business model, pay for performance.
Pay for performance. Luisa?
People and culture and meaningful brands.
Okay. Mauricio?
Talent, culture, and consistency across the globe.
Okay.
Leadership.
Okay.
People and culture and ideas.
Okay. And finally, Allan.
Thinking and acting like entrepreneurs.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you to give all our panelists a fantastic round of applause. Brilliant. Thank you. Before I reveal the prize, which is amazing, really, I'm really excited about this. We've never had the budget before.
Not lunch with you, is it, Charlie?
A client.
Okay. Before we reveal the prize, very special. Let's now reveal the final scores. And the winner, I think we have to cue the music, but before we cue the music, we have to congratulate Steve King on winning. Sorry, it's too late. Steve, could you come and join me? You've won, ladies and gentlemen, Steve King, you've won a car. You've won a car! Cue the music, cue the music. Give him a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause, come on. Woo! Oh, I'm sorry, anyway. Congratulations, Steve, that's fine. Okay. Do you want to just pick that up then? Ladies and gentlemen, Steve King won the quiz.
Global agency, I'm not sure we can have.
He can't have a Fiat. Who's Fiat's agency?
Maxis.
Okay,
Maxis.
Maxis, we'll give it to you.
I can take it
Okay,
today.
thank you. Thank you very much, guys. Okay, you may leave the stage. Please give them all a rapturous round of applause for that. Okay. We're going to trademark that format. If I see that at Cannes in June, I'll get really, really upset.